Good morning, everybody. Today on Senior Moments, we're going to talk about veterans benefits and the VA application and how to apply. What to look out for on today's edition of Senior Moments. Good morning, everybody. My name is Joel Green, along with Joe Schenberger, and welcome to Senior Moments.
Good morning. As we begin each of our shows, we're going to talk a little bit about the Senior Resource Alliance, which is the organization that's bringing you this program. Each program we're going to try and bring to light something that's new and interesting to adult children and seniors as they navigate the process of aging. And there are many, many topics to talk about. They'll be thematic throughout the show, but not necessarily thematic from week to week. With that, the Senior Resource Alliance is a group of 20 professionals. Each discipline, each professional is a different discipline within senior care, and it ranges all over the map. We have in-home care services. We have senior real estate specialists. We have people who are specialize in reverse mortgages, placement services, assisted living, memory care, end-of-life planning. We also have a couple of medical professionals that are involved with UCLA Health and City of Hope, who's our newest member. We also are involved with helping audiology, pharmacology, geriatric care management. There's a long, long list. And the goal of our organization is educational outreach. And we strive to reach as many people as possible on a yearly basis to make them aware of where to go to seek advice when they need it. And that's who we are. We've got a single phone number, a single website, a single email address, and you can contact us any way you want. It costs you nothing to contact us. If you avail yourself of services, there are probably fees for that, but you don't have to use our services. We are there as an advocate for you to help you understand what's available when you need it and where to seek out that information. In my case, I've been with the organization about 2.5 years. We've evolved considerably during that period of time, and our outreach we're at the point now we're reaching several hundred people per month. We want to bump that up to several thousand per year because the need is genuine, the need is there, and the need is pervasive.
The Santa Clarita Valley Senior Resource Alliance, the advantage that we have is that we're an outreach organization, as Joe mentioned. And the service of getting the referral is free. So if you needed help in end-of-life planning, there's somebody that can help you with that. And one call to the Santa Clarita Valley Senior Resource Alliance will put you in touch with that person. If you needed other services for you or a loved one, we're the resource to go to help you do that.
And just to dovetail with that, because I didn't mention at the onset, we are a 503c6 nonprofit self-funded organization. Our motivation is educational outreach. We are not in it for the business. We don't sell anything. When we speak to families, to organizations, we are simply talking about disciplines. So with that, on today's show, I'd like to introduce our guests. We are pleased and honored to introduce our distinguished guest, James Jim Hogan, a Vietnam vet. He served as a petty officer in the U.S. Navy from 1969 to 1973. He is a life member of the DAV, which is the Disabled American Veterans, and the DAV National Blind Chapter No. 1, where he currently serves as a senior vice commander. James was nationally recognized when he received the National Veterans Administration Volunteers Male Volunteer of the Year 2014 award. He is also a member of the VA Patient Advisory Council at the Sepulveda Ambulatory Care Center, active member of the SCV Veterans Memorial Committee, and the SCV Transit Committee, which James founded and has served as chairman for the last 8 years. Ellen Mitchell is a decorated U.S. Army veteran, serving from 1980 to 1984 as a Lance Missile crew member. She was one of the early females that served in a combat arms specialty. She has been a volunteer field service officer with the Veterans of Foreign Wars Service Office at Sepulveda Veterans Ambulatory Care Center in Sepulveda for more than 4 years. She helps all veterans file claims with the Department of Veterans Affairs at no cost to the veteran.
You are listening to Senior Moments. We'll be right back with James Hogan, Ellen Mitchell, both Vietnam vets, to talk about filling out your VA application. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, AM 1220.
I'm Joe Schenberger with Joel Green on Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We're talking about resources for vets through local volunteers and how to access those resources with James Hogan and Ellen Mitchell, FSOs.
Jim, give us a brief description of the type of services that you provide for veterans as a volunteer.
Well, my primary is I volunteer in the vision impairment service team in the healthcare area, working with our vision impaired veterans.
What does that mean, Jim?
Well, our veterans that have lost their sight, either my primary is working with our age-related vision loss, like macular degeneration, and it's easier for me to communicate with those veterans the service that we can provide for them.
What are some of the services you provide?
One of the things is there's nothing you can do. You can do anything you want. The VA give us the tools to do it better. And that you're self-independent is our primary goal.
Give me an example of that, Jim.
The two areas mostly is our older veterans. I find a lot of them like to still play golf.
Okay.
And we have tools available, technology and resource. You can still golf. We'll just do it a little bit different. And the other area is books. They like to read books. Well, there is an audio book, tremendous resource available, so you can now have the book read to you.
Ellen, how is what you do as a field service officer different, or how does it complement what Jim does?
Well, all of the volunteers complement each one. My particular expertise is I help veterans file their claims with the VA, both service-connected and non-service-connected. Jim helps the vets specifically with their vision problems and then sends them over to service officers when they need to file a claim.
And what's the difference between a VSO, a Veteran Service Officer, and a FSO, Field Service Officer?
A VSO, a Veteran Service Officer, you'll find at every single post, VFW, American Legion, DAV, many of the posts. They all have their own service officers. An FSO, Field Service Officer, is one step above with just a little more training that allows us then to work at VA facilities.
Okay.
So, Ellen, I have a number of clients that cross my path on a monthly basis. And the vast majority don't know about VA benefits, in particular aid and attendance. And I know we'll get into that in more depth later on. But the goal is always to try and find a resource for help, because I encourage families from applying for that benefit on their own because of the horror stories I've heard about trapdoors that just cause it to not be processed very timely. Is there a VSO or FSO here in the Santa Clarita Valley, or do those folks have to go down to Sepulveda campus?
As far as I know, we don't have an outsource building anywhere here in this area. So Sepulveda would be the closest to everybody in this area. Coming to a service officer, I'm surprised at how many vets that have come in. People, vets from Vietnam, even World War II and Korea, not knowing that we exist. Mm-hmm. And we're there for them. We are their conduit to fill the paperwork out that can be often confusing beyond any sense. VA forms are complicated and confusing. We sit down, make that an easy process. We tell them exactly what they need to do to file the claims, both for service-connected and non-service-connected.
And how much do you charge for this, Ellen?
Absolutely nothing.
Pardon me?
Absolutely nothing. We are here for the veterans. This is a free service. All of the service officers come from nonprofit organizations. So all of these services to our veterans are free.
So if somebody, give me an idea of your typical family or client that comes in to talk with you.
A lot are Vietnam vets that come into the office, and many have Agent Orange related issues. So when they come into the office, one of the things that we want to make sure that they do is go to the Agent Orange screening. That's going to allow the people that do the screening to see exactly which conditions that they can link up to Agent Orange exposure. So we have a lot of different conditions, diabetes and different types of cancer. Once that's done, we sit down, they have their medical records, we fill the forms out for them. We then stay with them through the whole process.
Give me an example, Ellen, of a family or one of your clients who perhaps is a recent client or a recent family member that has come to you asking for your help.
Just recently, again, another Vietnam vet that came in not even aware that we existed. We have a lot of issues with PTSD, that's post-traumatic stress disorder. So coming in and trying to find out what they can do as a service-connected claim that's going to help them, not only monetarily, but also medically.
Okay, we will be back with Senior Moments. Our guests today are Ellen Mitchell and James Hogan. We're talking about veterans filling out a VA benefits application on Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.